A last-minute decision nobody saw coming could mean the end for one of Chicago's most unlikely heroes. A kicker who barely knew his teammates turned into a legend on Monday night. But league rules might rip him out of Soldier Field before the week is over. Meanwhile, the refs cranked up the fans' anger once again, with phantom calls that almost cost the Bears a primetime victory. And the ghost of Tony Corrente felt like it came back to haunt Chicago. But the craziest part, this team just accomplished something that hasn't happened in almost 100 years. And once again, the Bears were right in the middle of it. 3 explosive headlines shaking the foundations of Soldier Field right now. And if you dip out now, you'll regret it all week long. This is for the real Navy and Orange diehards who never miss a second of what's happening in Chicago. Look, I'm just gonna keep it real with you from the jump. Jake Moody just had the perfect fairy tale night in Chicago, 13 points against Washington, including the game-winning field goal, as time ran out and rain that looked straight out of a kicker's worst nightmare. That moment when his teammates hoisted him up, when Soldier Field went nuts, when all of Chicago lost its mind. Beautiful, right? But let me ask you something. Do you really think this story's gonna have a happy ending for the Bears? Let me break it down. Moody's on the practice squad right now. And under NFL rules, any team can just come in tomorrow, or the day after, any day this week, and snatch him up, and there's absolutely nothing Ryan Poles can do to stop it. Zero. Nada. They just take him and that's that, unless the Bears pull something drastic and move him up to the 53-man roster. But that would mean keeping the kickers on the active roster, something basically nobody does, unless it's an absolute last resort. Let's go back in time. September 9th, the 49ers cut Moody, the very kicker they picked in the 3rd round of the 2023 draft. Super controversial move from jump, because seriously, who spends a 3rd-round pick on a kicker? In today's NFL, San Francisco tried it. It didn't work. They let him go. 3 days later, Ryan Poles proving he's got a little mad genius in him brings Moody in for the practice squad. Not to challenge Cairo Santos, just as a backup. An emergency just in case nobody thought would actually matter. Week 4, Vegas. Santos nails for field goals, but something's off. He injures his right thigh. The injury hangs around through the bye and the Monday before Washington. Santos just doesn't feel 100%. Ben Johnson makes the call. Moody gets bumped up. Santos goes inactive. And the rest, as they say, is history. Here's the thing, though, when the Niners dropped Moody, the market for him was colder than the Lake Michigan wind in January. Nobody wanted him. Why? Because in San Fran, Moody was hot and cold, didn't matter if it was from 30 or 50. Dude missed kicks he couldn't afford to miss. But something flipped in Chicago. The Bears staff saw something different. They put in work with him for weeks, watched him at every practice, and when it was crunch time, Johnson didn't hesitate for a second. Nothing about that surprised me at all. Johnson said after the game, "We've been watching him in practice for weeks, so that's part of it. And we knew what he's capable of. He's hit some pretty big kicks in big games already in his career. None of this was a shock. I think that change of scenery did him a lot of good." So I'll ask again, you think the other teams haven't been watching what the Bears just saw? After what Moody did under that nightmare weather in front of the world on Monday, Moody became a legend overnight. Now you've got 31 other teams asking themselves, maybe our kicker could use a fresh start too. Here's the problem. Cairo Santos is still the guy in Chicago. He's the vet, the one who's been here. He's starting when he's healthy. That thigh injury doesn't sound bad enough to send him to the IR. He was just a last-minute inactive, which means he'll probably be ready for Week 7 against the Saints. So what do the Bears do? Keep the kickers. That's a luxury almost nobody can afford in this league, where every roster spot is gold. The salary cap is a grind. And you've got bigger needs everywhere else. I think we're seeing the end of this fairy tale before it really starts. And that's the roughest part. Moody found a home here. The staff believed in him. His teammates celebrated him like he'd been part of the family all year. Pretty wild set of events. Moody said post-game, "Couple days ago, I had no idea I'd be kicking, and for my teammates to pick me up, it's incredible. I'm just grateful I got to share that moment with them, but reality hits hard in this league. Some team is coming. Maybe Jacksonville, they've had kicker problems all year. Maybe Carolina, always looking to upgrade. Maybe even a playoff team trying to lock down their special teams for the stretch run. And when that happens, the Bears will just have to watch their Monday night hero walk away. And if you thought the Moody drama was the only thing we had to stress about, Just wait till you hear what's going on with the NFL Power Rankings. Apparently, winning 3 straight, sitting at 3-2, and beating Washington in a game everybody saw isn't enough for this team. To get the respect it deserves, the Athletic just dropped their Week 7 Power Rankings. Before Monday night, the Bears were sitting at number 20. Like we're some hopeless rebuild. We pull off that crazy win against the Commanders, and you want to know where they bumped us. 18. Allows you to spots. Are you messing with me right now? 3 straight wins, all the momentum on our side. Danders Swift finally getting loose for over 100 rushing yards. The passing game coming alive, the defense making big stops, all that. And we're still behind the Vikings at 17. Still behind the Falcons at 15. Teams that are also 3-2, but let's be real, they're not playing with the same fire we are. Let me tell you why this bugs me so much. It's not just pride. It's not just being a fan, wanting to see your team get a little love. It's because these rankings show something deeper. Old preseason narratives are still stuck in people's heads. There are analysts out there who still see the Bears as last year's 5-12 dumpster fire. Still thinking about all the years of mediocrity, the Trubisky letdown, the Nagy headache, the pain that just keeps piling on. But honestly, they're missing what's really happening. Ben Johnson came in and flipped the culture from day one. This isn't the same team that folded in the second half. This isn't the same crew that threw in the towel when things got tough. Look at Monday night. Hostile crowd in Washington. Ugly weather. Refs against us the whole game. And we still found a way. I thought that was a real team win, Johnson said after the game. That's a real solid opponent in a hostile environment. And I thought all 3 phases showed up when we needed them. Wasn't our cleanest game. Made mistakes. Penalties hurt. But again, the team was resilient and found a way to win. Super proud of these guys. Resilience. That's the word. Teams ranked 18 don't play with this kind of heart. Teams that are building something real. Teams that are in playoff talks. That's who shows resilience. And that's exactly what Chicago brought on Monday night. Here's the thing. Maybe we don't have that signature win yet. Maybe beating Washington isn't enough for people to say, wow, these Bears are for real. But seriously, what else do we have to do? Win for straight 5. Blow out the Packers by 40. Because our next opponent is the Saints, and they're ranked 28 in these rankings. So if we beat them, the haters will just say, well, that was expected. The Saints are trash. It's a battle we can't win with these analysts. And you know what? That's perfect. Let them keep sleeping on us. Let them believe we're just a .500 team waiting to fall apart. Because while they're talking, we're stacking wins. Johnson can use this as extra fuel. Maybe it's a good thing the Bears keep getting overlooked. Even disrespected. Brian Perez from Sports Illustrated wrote, "That's bulletin board material for Johnson as the playoff race heats up. And I'm with him 100%. Leave us at 18. Think we're average. Because when December and January come around and we're hunting down a playoff spot, while other teams are falling apart, all these analysts are going to have to eat their words. And I'll be right here, saving every ranking, every article, every time they said we weren't good enough for now. The Bears are going to stay focused on building a winning program. Power rankings can say what they want. The numbers in the win column are the only thing that really matters. And right there, folks, we're 3-2 with a 3-game streak. That's Navy and Orange, baby. But if you thought we were done talking about things that drive fans crazy, buckle up. We need to talk about Monday night officiating. And I mean we have to talk about this, because what happened in that game was absolutely ridiculous. Let me ask you, how many of you watched that game and felt like you were getting 2021 flashbacks? How many thought here we go again with Tony Corrente? Because even though Corrente wasn't there Monday night, Alex Moore's crew did everything they could to make us relive the nightmare in Pittsburgh. When Justin Fields had the game of his life, and the refs decided every time the Bears even breathed, it was a penalty. Let's hit the cold hard numbers. Chicago got flagged 9 times for 8-4 yards. Washington, only 5 for 40 yards. And most of those 5 came late in the game. The obvious makeup calls just to keep the stats from looking too lopsided. Like we're supposed to forget what happened those first 3 quarters. We gotta go through each one of these phantom flags because Chicago fans are totally justified in being pissed. First, the phantom offensive pie on Colston Loveland in the first. 11-yard pickup at Washington's 21. 1st and 10. Drive alive. Boom, flag. Offensive pie. Drive dead. Field goal. 3 points instead of a possible 7-second. The ghost illegal formation on Theo Benedette. Caleb Williams throws an 11-yard touchdown to Rome Oduns. Flag. Illegal formation. Touchdown wiped out. Settle for a 41-yard field goal. Again, 3 instead of 7. Third. The phantom face mask on Noshenright. No face mask there. The replay showed it plain as day. Still, flag. First down for Washington in a crucial moment. Fourth. A bogus offsides on DJ Moore. End of the game. We're backed up inside our own 10. And they call Moore for offsides when he clearly wasn't. That dropped us in a bigger hole and pretty much forced the punt that gave Washington momentum. Fifth. A low hit call on Yaquin Brisker for bumping Jaden Daniels in the calf. Now, this one technically happened, but honestly, the play matters. Brisker got blocked to the ground. The ball was out. It wasn't intentional. Flag anyway. 15 yards. First down, Washington. Sixth. Frankie Lavu's hit on Caleb Williams near the sideline. It was totally legal and brutal. But you gotta blame Williams for not getting rid of the ball or just stepping out of bounds there. Still sucks to watch. Seventh. And this one gets me the most. Montez Sweat brushes Daniels' helmet after a throw. No force, no intent. He just barely grazes the helmet. Flag. Personal foul. 15 more yards. Washington's drive stays alive. Now every little touch to the QB's helmet is a flag, no matter what. Here's the thing, not every hand to the helmet is a penalty. The rule says with force. If a defender barely brushes a QB's helmet in the middle of a legit play, that shouldn't just be an automatic flag. Try explaining that to the refs on Monday night, though. Fans lost it on social. Twitter was wild. Facebook was blowing up. Everybody was asking the same thing. Why are these phantom calls always going against Chicago? Why isn't Caleb getting the protection they give Jaden? Why do the Bears always seem to draw the short straw on primetime officiating? And I think I know the answer, but you might not like it. It's because we're still not considered one of the big teams in this league. We're not the Chiefs. We're not the Niners. We're not one of those darlings the league wants front and center in the playoffs. We're still the Bears, the team that's been stuck in average for years. And until we fully flip the script, we're gonna keep fighting this kind of officiating. But listen, let me be clear, we won that game anyway. 9 penalties didn't stop us. Phantom flags didn't stop us. Everything felt stacked against us and we still pulled it off. That says more about this team than anything else. Gene Chamberlain from Sports Illustrated nailed it. If the Bears are gonna play in games like this, they better get used to coverage that's not exactly rooting for them. When it comes to officiating, just realize even the Zebras have an off night now and then. In Correnti's case back in 2021, it was a downright historic disaster. So let me ask, can you really accept that? Accept that sometimes the refs just blow it and there's no conspiracy? Because honestly, I think it's more complicated. There's patterns here. Certain teams get certain calls. But Chamberlain is right about one thing. If you want to play under the big lights, you've got to know how to win despite the officiating, not because of it. And that's exactly what we did Monday. We beat the bad calls. We survived flags that never should have been thrown. We figured it out. And that's the sign of a team truly building something special right here in Chicago. Family, after all this, I've got 3 questions for you. First, should Ryan Poles bump Jake Moody up to the 53-man roster to protect him from other teams, even if it means dressing the kickers? It's a legit question. Moody just showed he's clutch when it matters most. Is it worth the risk to lose him? Drop your take in the comments. Second, are these power rankings flat out wrong about the Bears? Or do you think we still need to prove it a little more before earning some national respect? Because I think we've done enough, but I want to know what you think. Are we a playoff team right now, or are we still a win or two away from being taken seriously? Third, about the officiating Monday, was it just a rough night for the refs? Or is there something deeper going on? Are the Bears getting screwed on prime time, or is it just fan paranoia? I really want to hear your thoughts, because I know a lot of you have strong opinions on this. But beyond those questions, I want you to get something. This channel isn't just Bears news. This is about building a real community. A Navy and Orange family that lives and breathes this team every single day. We suffer together when it's rough. We celebrate together when we're on top. Being a Bears fan isn't just about Sundays, it's a lifestyle. If that's you, if you feel like you belong here, I need you to do something right now. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications. Because I promise you, tomorrow, the day after, This week we're gonna have even more explosive Bears news. And you can't afford to miss a second of what's happening in Chicago. This is the moment we've all been waiting for as fans. Johnson's building something real. Caleb's turning into the franchise QB we need. The defense is making plays. The run game's finally clicking. Everything's starting to fall into place, and when it fully does, I'm telling you this team's gonna be unstoppable. So stick with us. Be part of this family. Drop your comments below. Share this with the Bears fans in your life that need to hear it. And don't go far, cause this season's just getting good. From Chicago, with navy and orange running through my veins, I'm Miguel Morales. Bear down, family. I'll catch you in the next one.